Hello YouTube, it is Chris here, and in today's episode we're going to be discussing my micro everyday carry. Welcome back everybody, and thank you for sticking with me. Yes, you heard right. Today we're going to be discussing my micro everyday carry. Now on the table there are a few things that aren't micro everyday carry just because you can't get away from it. You can't have like a micro wallet, but a slim EDC wallet is basically the best way to go. This is my Chums Wallet. I've been rocking this for a very long time now. It's my favorite wallet because I can stick a ton of things in there. I got my can hold my cards, my cash, and some survival tools inside, which if we open up right here, we've got a few things in here. We've got my Lost Hiker kit, but that's just the envelope because I've got some Spartan fire strips in here, formerly known as sear strips, and then I've got some Grim survival cards. We love Grim. These guys are awesome. If you guys want links to these guys, I'll definitely showcase them down in the video description for more info. Next, obviously, is my phone. This is the iPhone XS. It basically gets me through my day so I can communicate and film and do all that cool stuff. Then we've got my bracelet. This is one from Outdoor Element. This is the Woolly Mammoth. This is a huge thing of jute, but what I like about it is a massive fire steel. For a fire steel buckle, that thing is huge, which is why I like wearing it because it's very versatile. And obviously next is my watch. This is my Rangeman. This is a newer edition. I've only had this for about 8 months. But as far as tools go, I've got a Japanese kerosene-filled compass from WAZOO Survival Gear. These are some of the best high-quality button compasses on there. I love rocking that on my band, so I can always have it with me. It's got a retro reflector, glow in the dark, so I can read maps if I need to. It's pretty freaking versatile. Now that we've dispensed with the other things that are in my wallet that aren't micro, let's discuss why I decided for this week, at least, to go micro. Now, I like to do minimalist things from time to time, but typically, for what I could do most often is I take a lot of stuff out into the woods and we film a lot of survival adventures. We do go camping, we travel around, we do hunting, fishing, little challenges, and you guys have thoroughly enjoyed those on my channel. But typically speaking, when I go out, this is what my EDC looks like. Now, typically when I head out into the backwoods, this is kind of what I bring with me. This is an example of one of the flashlights I like to bring. This is the Olight Seeker 2 Pro. This thing is awesome. It's super bright, has a lot of awesome battery capacity, run times, lumen output, because when you're in the middle of the woods, when you have no street lights, no cityscapes to kind of back up your lighting situation, the bigger, the better, the brighter, the better. Obviously, this is the Gerber Center Drive. This is one of my favorite multi-tools when I'm working on stuff or I need a screwdriver, pliers, knife. I just want a bunch of tools at the ready on my hip. This is great. But as you can tell, all this stuff is really big, bulky, and heavy. So being able to swap things out from time to time, especially in an urban environment, to something like this, when you have street lights, cars, headlamps, housing lights, all that stuff, you know, overhead, something like this is actually a lot more adequate. Now, if you have a purpose-driven job, like you work security, you're going to be somewhere where it's dark, and you need a bigger flashlight, obviously don't be afraid to swap out. Now for this particular iteration and rotation, I've decided to go with this set of tools. It's much more highly refined than some of my past iterations I've done for micro everyday carry, and I feel for an urban environment when I happen to need tools and stuff the most, this seems to fit the bill really well. Now keep in mind, there's a ton of awesome options for your micro everyday carry needs. They're literally amazing how much is available to the day for small minimalistic type designs. This little guy right here has become my champion. This is the Ratchet Rocket Light DX. I actually stole this idea from my really good buddy Cliff from the Urban Prepper. He actually had this in his most recent iteration of his Altoids Urban EDC 10. And I like this because I've noticed that when I carry a multi-tool, I get pliers and a whole bunch of tools at the ready for something like the Leatherman squirt. But having the ability to work on something, or I need a wrench where I need a Allen screw key, torque spit to work on a blade, anything like that, I needed something. Now, it's all fine and dandy if you've got a big old toolbox in your truck and you can have one of these big huge sets like this, but having something that I can keep in my wallet, yeah, this will fit in my wallet just fine, is really awesome. And this little handle, even though it's only like 3.5 inches, gives me that leverage I need. And then I can attach this to the system, which is just a magnetic universal bit to pop in there magnetically. And for this particular situation, I decided to add this little 10 right here. and I decided to pop in all of the bits that I use the most often, whether they actually belong to my electric scooter that I use. It's a pretty awesome scooter. We got it from a company called Dualped. It does like 60 miles an hour, has like a 100-mile range. I use it for a lot of my urban travel around a town because I share a car with my wife, so it helps me get around town very, very well. But it helps me work on that, my kids' bikes, my knives, just flathead screwdrivers and everything like that. It gives me every common tool that I use the most often. Now, when it comes to my knives, I have been in love with this guy. This is the Leatherman Skeletal KB. Now, there's other tiny little knives that I have messed around with. There's a ton of awesome options out there. Here's a couple of them that I mess with. This is a little cheap CRKT lockback knife that I've been using. It's pretty sharp, but I like the fact that the Leatherman had a pocket clip on it, so this one didn't last too long, but it is nice and thin and cheap, so if you want something you can throw in your little coin pocket in your jeans or something, that would work really well. And then something that was keychain size was this one. I had this one for a little while, and it's okay. It does the job, but I still wanted just a little bit more length, a little bit more comfort in hand. It's weird because you barely get 2 fingers on it. It's just a little too micro for me, but I still think under 3 inches will count in this regard, considering this is only a 1.5 ounce blade. However, if I still want to go minimalist with carry most of the stuff, but I want a slightly bigger knife, you can easily take this and swap it out with something like the Benchmade Puko if you're going out in the woods. Now, like I said, when it comes to illumination, little tiny AAA battery flashlights like this work really, really, really well. Having something like that on your keys just is fantastic. There's a ton of options out there. This is another one we've been experimenting with, which is from a company called Rovivon, and they're pretty fantastic. They're pretty legit, actually. I like them a lot. They are pretty bright overall. They get really, really, really bright. I like these little guys, and I like them because they're lightweight. Like I said, if you're going out into the woods or your job is purpose-driven and you need to get a little bit bigger, that's fine. You can rock something like the Olight Seeker 2 Pro, or if you want to rock something on your chest and be hands-free, but you're not into the headlamp game, you can do something like this one from Rovivon. This one's actually pretty cool. It's 2,000 lumens. I actually rocked this with my buddy Chris Deslow on our 3-day adventure in the National Forest when we were doing frog gigging, and that clip, just putting it on our chest harness when I was rocking my Hidden Woodsman haversack, was awesome. This thing worked really, really well. But another option you can go for if you need something a little bit bigger and brighter is the WowTac A5. This is another really big, bright, bulky option that's super epic. And speaking of that, we do want to mention we have a sponsor for today's episode, which is WowTac. And with that, that means we have a giveaway. So if you want to find out about the giveaway, definitely stick to the end of the episode, and we'll let you know about that coming from WowTac. I want to thank them for sponsoring this episode. Now, when it comes to fire starting, obviously having something like a mini Bic lighter works really well, or if you want a waterproof option, you've got this. Some people like to be a little more woodsman-y at heart when they're out in the city, so they'll do things like this, which is the Nano Striker XL, or they just keep a small fire still on their keychain, which works just fine. But something I've been playing with that I really, really enjoy is the Pyro Putty lighter. We're going to be diving into this to some fire tender options that I keep in my wallet. Obviously, in my wallet, you saw that we had the Spartan Fire Tinder strips in here, but I do experiment with quite a few other things, obviously, all the time. Things like their fire plugs work really, really well. I keep like a 3-pack on me. I can stick that in my pocket or my wallet without taking any extra space. Something like Pyro Putty works really well. This stuff's pretty awesome. This is a flammable, really not messy fire starter that lasts a very long time. If you compare this stuff to this, they work about the same firepower. Firepower to firepower. As far as store-bought fire starters go, they are some of the most reliable, waterproof, and most powerful fire starters out there. So the fact that you can keep them in EDC form factor if you need to, or if you want to, you can do like a little keychain titanium capsule, something like this, and you can have the cores from 550 blaze cord, which comes from 4 Directions Bushcraft. You can have like 20 plus little fire tinder sticks in there and keep it in your keychain. There's a ton of different options you can have if you want kind of a micro survival kit built into your system. Now, like I said, when I go out in the woods, I like to stay minimal most of the time, but I wanted a way to carry it, and from what you guys who saw in my last episode, we were using the Maxpedition tactical tin can, where I actually rocked a fire strip roll and a whole survival kit inside here, and it works really, really well. I like that a lot. But for me, I wanted something a little more streamlined that matched some of my backpacks that I've got, so I decided to switch to the Maxpedition Barnacle. This still gives me where I can put the blade tech clips on here, and I can attach this to any MOLLE attachments to my day packs and anything that I take out into the woods and do some adventure, scouting, filming, hunting, anything like that. But I can fit a full-on fire strip roll in here if we actually catch ourselves in a funky situation, but I've got a huge pocket where I can stick a bunch of little micro EDC and survival tools right inside. And when it's all said and done, it looks something like this. You can stick a full fire strip roll in here. You can also have a ton of little micro EDC tools. Not as organized as I usually keep it. I usually Tetris it a little bit better. But a lot of people ask me, why do I keep that big fire strip roll in here? And the answer when I broke it down was actually really simple. One, it's not a lot of bulky fire tender to keep on you for store-bought if you want something waterproof when the conditions are easy. When you're in daytime and the weather's nice, if starting a fire is very simple. You don't need anything. But when the weather gets really, really bad, you're in active rain, starting a fire can be really difficult. So for me, this gives me a 54-foot strip, and when I cut these down into 2-inch strips, I get 324 pieces of fire tinder. If you had to start a fire and you keep that fire going anywhere between 3 to 10 days at a time, this could last you years by itself, considering the fact that it's been impervious to the elements and the fact that it's only like $7. That's an investment I'm willing to purchase and keep in my kit. Now, as I said earlier, there's a ton of micro, EDC, or minimalist options you can have on you. Now, if you want to learn more about any of that stuff, I'll definitely throw links down in the video description. But like I said, I want to focus mostly on these tools. This is what I'm choosing to carry because it all is very purpose-driven, and it fits with my kind of style and how I like to carry stuff very easily. But all in all, this just about covers it for my micro everyday carry. I hope you guys enjoyed some of the tools and I gave you some ideas. And then keep in mind, just because I'm showcasing this doesn't mean that this is the end-all be-all and these are all the best micro EDC tools on the planet. It's just hopefully giving you some fun ideas to kind of play with and experiment into your own rotation. And like I said, this was one of my favorite ideas that I got from the Urban Prepper. This thing is awesome. If there's one thing that you probably didn't have in your arsenal that I would suggest, that's probably my favorite one, because I know a lot of you guys have things like your Gerber dimes and your Leatherman squirts and your Skillet tools. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely give this video a big thumbs up and share this out with your friends and family in your social media networks so we keep growing, thriving, and making awesome videos for you guys. But that is the buzzer for now. Hope you guys have an absolute wonderful day. I'm out. Alright, so now this is the end of the video. We can get on to the giveaway. So, like I said, since WoWTech is the sponsor of this episode, I want to give a major shout out to them and thank them for sponsoring this episode. They are going to be giving away to one lucky winner a brand new WoWTech A1S flashlight. Now, for those of you who remember the A1S, we beat that thing up, threw it off a 50-foot bridge, banged it on rocks. This thing held true. And this is a brand new one in the box. We're going to make sure this is nice and new for you. But you're going to get a brand new one. Takes an 18650 battery, over 1,000 lumens. That is yours. So if you want to get into this, make sure you're subscribed to this channel, leave a comment on this video, and you thumbs up this video. And sharing it out is going to be really important. So if you want to get more sponsors like this and have more giveaways on this channel, that's the best way to make that happen. So sharing this video is going to be a really big deal.